Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to my channel. I am Shara Prophet, and this is Beyond the Bank Account. So this is a weekly live that I'm doing every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's West Coast time, okay? So welcome, everybody. Come on in, and as you come into the room, go ahead and say hello. Give this video a thumbs up, and if you feel so inclined, you can share this. So you see the caption, this live is for my sovereign millionaires. This is for the people who have already accomplished their financial goals in life. You've reached a certain level of success in your business or wherever it is that you do. And now you are feeling the call and the pull to do something else, to do something greater, right? There's a divine calling or something else that you've been trying to say, I'm going to do this, but there's something stopping you. There's something that is keeping you from taking that next step. And perhaps it might be something like you've suffered some level of betrayal in the past, right? You've had some public scrutiny. I know what that is like. Perhaps you're dealing with some ancestral traumas, maybe down your bloodline, people were persecuted for using their voice, or they were persecuted for being visible and seen and stepping out and doing something that kind of went against the grain, okay? So we're going to be touching on a lot of different topics and subject matters that are affecting sovereign millionaires like yourself. So today I'm specifically focusing on visibility, since that seems to be one of the biggest things that a lot of my clients want to come in and work on, okay? So you have to understand that you're no longer in that space of fearing failure, because 9 times out of 10, if you have reached certain pinnacles of success, if you have, claimed your financial goals and still growing, right? Because we're always receiving more, attracting more, creating more beautiful things. You're not really afraid of failure anymore, right? You've failed plenty of times. You've succeeded more times than you have failed. So you're not really worrying about that. Now it's the fear of exposure, because a lot of you all have attained your wealth and your success behind the scenes, right? A lot of you have worked silently to create the life that you wanted, and you got the life that you wanted, and that's a beautiful thing. But now there's something else pulling you into a different level, a higher level of your existence. And I'm not even going to say it's your purpose, because we have so many purposes, right? We don't just come here to do one thing. That's probably the reason why we have so many different passions, or you're multi-passionate, like a lot of people are saying now. That's a beautiful term I like to use sometimes. You're multi-passionate, and you have a lot of talents and a lot of gifts. And maybe you've been focusing your time and your energy and your efforts in one direction for many years, maybe 10, 20, 30, 40, some of you 50 years. And now you're like, okay, now I want to do this thing. Some of you have retired early. Some of you all are in your 40s and your 50s, and you are, you don't have anything to do now because you sold your business, or you said, I'm done with that phase of life and now I'm ready to step into the next thing. And so for this particular topic today, this is about you becoming more visible. This is about you using your voice in a way that is very powerful. Some of you want to write your memoirs, or some of you want to tell your story, and you might be feeling held back from doing that because of the fear of being exposed. And when I say exposed, I'm not talking about, something bad, right? I'm talking about bearing your soul, bearing the raw truth about who you are, the things that you've been through, and how you've reached your success, okay? So it can be a multitude of different things. Visibility does make you vulnerable. Okay, it really does. And I do have to push myself to become visible, right? To be visible, because I am one that loves to work in the background. However, and that's just because I'm an introvert. So for some of you introverts out there that are nerds and you just like to do what you do behind the scenes, that is totally fine. But there might be a calling that's saying, hey, I need you to be visible. I need you to use your voice. It does require a level of vulnerability. And sometimes that being vulnerable is really scary, especially if you've done it in the past and you were persecuted for that. And you're always concerned about being a target. That's why you see a lot of celebrities and a lot of, high net worth individuals, they stay very quiet, right? They stay behind the scenes because they don't want to become a target. They don't want to become a target of people digging into their backgrounds and spying on them and saying, oh, you did this in the past and you did that in the past. They also don't want people to try to befriend them or get to know them because of the success and the wealth that they have attained. Because nowadays with technology, a lot of people are able to go in and dig and find out, what your net worth is. And they may try to befriend you and get to know you very well so that they can take advantage. So that's definitely understandable when we're talking about being more visible. And so the fear is also often linked to trauma from past betrayals. Lawsuits is another big one. Okay, that's a real big one. And public shaming or family members, right? So what if you have people in your family that got into a lot of trouble or had struggles with, addictions and things like that? A lot of times people don't want those types of things coming out, okay? But there are things that you can do. There are things that you can do to energetically protect yourself and still rise into the calling, into your next, evolution, so to speak. My necklace is all twisted up. Why is that happening? Okay, there we go. That does something to me when is not right. So the higher you rise, right, the more people you think the more people you think you will disappoint, right? Family members, friends, people that you work with, people who follow you, things of that nature. But I want you to know that there are things that you can do energetically to protect yourself and your legacy. There are things that you can do mentally to protect yourself and your legacy. As someone who has dealt with public scrutiny, who has been publicly bashed on social media by people whom I thought I was in a safe environment with, right? I have dealt with betrayals and things of that nature, publicly, behind the scenes, and all of that. So I totally understand that you find a sense of security and safety, just not being seen, just being like, let me just do my thing back here. All I'm trying to do is just do me, be happy, follow my life's calling right now, and I just don't want any problems. However, we're moving into a phase of life where a lot of your voice is needed in this world, right? A lot of people need to hear your voice. They need to hear from you. They need to, whether that's writing, whether that's speaking, whatever it is, whether that's, being in a movie, because some of you all have, your dream is to be in movies or be on stage or something like that. But because you have these deep wounds or these deep fears, it holds you back from doing that, okay? So I want you to understand that you're not hiding because you're unsure about your abilities. You have already proven that you are absolutely capable of being successful, that you are absolutely capable of reaching certain heights and pinnacles of success. That is not the problem here. There's something else that's hiding underneath the surface that causes you to want to hide because you remember what happened the last time that you were seen, that you were visible, and that you showed yourself to the world, not just to your colleagues, not just to your staff, not just to the clients that you work with very closely, but to the world, okay? And even that goes back to childhood sometimes. Sometimes something happened in childhood that made you be like, oh my God, I don't even want to be seen anymore because of that. A couple of things happened to me when I was a kid. I was the captain of my cheerleading team. This was in elementary school. And we were doing a competition. Remember the cheerleading competitions? And even to this day, I get so embarrassed thinking about it. But I'm so happy that I'm able to talk about it now, right? So I was supposed to lead my team right in front of the judges. And for some reason, I ran past the judges. So we were all the way down the end of the gymnasium. And good morning, all the way down at the end of the gymnasium, and the judges had to turn their heads and look that way. Now, granted, we still got second place. We still won second place because we was just, the bomb. But it is still so embarrassing to think about that. So that is one of the things that has affected me throughout my lifetime and made me just want to stay in the background, right? For fear of making a mistake publicly and being ridiculed or criticized, and maybe not even being ridiculed or criticized by other people, because my coach didn't make me feel bad. Nobody made me feel bad, and we won second place, right? But it was me. I was my harshest critic, okay? So that's just one of the things that has happened to me, aside from like forgetting the words of a song while I was, singing and performing back in the day, things like that, hitting a wrong note, just things that make you cringe and you're just like, oh, I just want to stay behind the scenes, okay? So I don't, that could be so many different things for so many different people. But I just wanted to share that with you all so that you could understand that these things can affect us, even though they've happened, back in childhood, for some of us, 40, 50, 60 years ago, right? So sometimes those are the things that can just really keep you from wanting to be seen. Now, for those of you who have been publicly shamed or ridiculed or bashed or have gone through some sort of humiliation ritual, I've also been there. Been there, done that, okay? That can be very traumatic, especially if you have poured your heart and soul into things that you're super passionate about, right? And you're just sharing your gifts and your talents with the world. And unfortunately, there are people who can't handle your power. There are people who are intimidated and threatened by your voice. They're threatened by your presence, just your mere presence. And you might be saying, why are you threatened? You got way more than me. You have way more success, more eyes on you. So why are you threatened by me? Little old me. I'm over here just, doing my thing. However, your energy, your power, just you walking into a room shifts the trajectory of everything, okay? You have to understand your power. So when you start to understand your power and it goes beyond the bank account, it's not even about what you've made and what you got sitting in the bank account, okay? Because people can inherit large sums of money. That doesn't make you wealthy. True wealth is you understanding your power and you knowing who you are with or without the money in the bank, okay? So when you know, I'm very powerful. I shift, I move things. I send ripple effects through the entire cosmos, through the universe. When I touch people, when I come in contact with people, their lives are changed forever. They are forever activated. They are forever initiated, even if it's just been for 5 minutes. Even if I've never even met them in person, the moment my voice is heard, the moment my face is seen, my presence is made known, I send ripple effects and shifts throughout the entire existence of the all. When you understand that about yourself, you can overcome all kinds of fears and resistance and hindrances, okay? And it has been a walk, it has been a journey for many of us to overcome the inner critic, right? Because when people say things against you, they say it one time. And it is up to you to determine how long that ripple effect affects you, right? But there are things that you can do energetically to shift it. There are things that you can do energetically to alchemize it. And sometimes people just don't know what it is that they need to do, okay? So you are not needing more strategy. 9 times out of 10, you already have strategy. And if you need strategy, there's things like ChatGPT, child, you can hire somebody that can show you a strategy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't need to be taught another strategy. You can figure that out for yourself. But what you might need help with is understanding how to tap in and tune into that power, and then how to alchemize anything, especially The first thing, which is you, the first hindrance, the first resistance barrier is you. It is you. Okay? That's the first resistance barrier. I just posted earlier today about how we need to live the life that we want to live. Okay? Listen to that. You need to live the life that you want to live. Meaning, if you want more freedom, more time in your life, then you have to live like you have more freedom and time. If you are ready to step into the next level of your existence, of your calling, of your purpose, whatever you want to call it, okay? Then you need to start living like you are in that timeline. You need to be in the timeline and live like you are in the timeline. If you are afraid that because of your wealth and your success, you are attracting people who are going to stab you in the back, guess what? You're going to attract people who stab you in the back. It's the law of attraction. It works for everything, and it works both ways. It works for things that you want to experience, and it works for things that you do not want to experience. So you get to be the architect, and then I was about to say archetype, but you get to be the architect of your existence, of your experience, lifetime after lifetime, moment after moment, second after second. You get to determine what this second looks like right now. Okay? And a lot of us have experienced a lot of traumatic things in life on different levels. But one trauma doesn't mean that the other trauma is not as traumatic. Because your trauma could have been something as simple as you taking your cheerleading team past the judge's eyes at a different marker instead of the marker that was set for you, right? That could be your trauma. And that can be just as big as someone else's trauma of being violated physically, okay? So you never want to downplay whatever your trauma was, but you certainly don't want to have it be bigger than you, right? Your trauma is not bigger than you. Your mistake is not bigger than you. If anything, those things were there for you to help you have markers throughout your timeline. And your timeline is not straight, it's not linear. Your timeline is like this, okay? So you have these different markers, these different points throughout the timeline that signify where you need to go now. You can go this way, you can go that way. You get to choose which direction you're going to go in at each marker, at each point, at each signifier. And depending on which direction you take, it's not bad, it's not good, it's not right, it's not wrong. Because along the way, if you decide to go right, along that path in the right direction or the left direction, right? You are creating it the whole way through. You understand? So even if you're like, oh, I don't know if I should have chose this direction. This is a little rocky. This is a little tougher than, what I thought it was going to be. You get to alchemize those experiences as you move along the path. Okay? So our family legacies, the survival programming, right? The addiction to things being difficult, the addiction to expecting the worst possible scenario. We all have it. We all go through it, right? The addiction to hard-earned everything, hard-earned love, hard-earned rewards, hard-earned money. We are programmed with that anything worth having is hard. We're programmed that way. And to a certain extent, as human beings living the human experience, right? Most of the time, that's when we learn the biggest lesson. It's through pain, it's through trauma, it's through hurt, it's through betrayal, okay? But what I'm saying to you is that you have overcome a whole lot of those programs, a lot of that history of pain and trauma. You have overcome a lot of that, which is why you are where you are. But with each new level comes a new devil. And the devil is not some caricature with horns and a spear or whatever that is, a triton or whatever the heck they give that energy. Okay? The devil is your programming, your expectations, your fears, your doubts, your worries of what's on the other side of this. How do the barrier, the restriction, and the resistance that shows up, that's the devil. And the devil is there to protect you. Listen to this. Catch this. Catch it. The devil is there to protect you from potential danger. Okay? Because that devil is there saying, stay here. Stay back here. Stay down here. Because what's going to happen when you level up? Who are you going to have to leave behind, right? Remember, you lost so many people the last time you leveled up, the last time you did this thing, the last time you put yourself out there. You seen what happened. Stay down here. It's comfortable here. But is it really comfortable? That's the real question. Is it really comfortable? Probably not. And the reason why it's not comfortable is because the higher part of you is saying, okay, time to do this thing now, right? But the lower self is saying, we're good. We have done what most people have not done. I don't really think we need to do anything else. We're good. Let's just stay here. And for a little while, it's okay to just stay there because it is comfortable, because it's the devil that you know. And it's safe there. It's designed that way. But the higher part of you is saying, we need you over here, though. It's time for you to be over here. So the incongruent energy between the high and the low, right? The conscious and the subconscious, the programming versus the next level. That's an inner fight. That's an inner battle. And that is what brings the conflict. That's what makes you feel like, oh God, I'm so tired. Oh, I can't sleep. Or I don't know what's going on with me. Why is my back hurting? Or why is my blood pressure up so high? Why all of a sudden am I breaking out in these highs? Why all of a sudden can I not sleep at night? Why do I keep having these nightmares? What is going on between me and my spouse? Why are we all of a sudden spatting and having these disagreements? Or why are my kids all of a sudden acting out? That's because there is an inner battle going on that leaves an opening for destruction. Listen to this. It leaves an opening for destruction. Because we won't move on our own, right? We're comfortable where we are. We don't want to move. I'm tired. I finally got into a comfortable space. I ain't really trying to do nothing else right now. You know what I'm saying? I ain't really trying to go through that right now. However, the highest part of you that you've already said yes to, by the way, because that's how you got where you are, right? Because you already said hi, and you already said yes to that part of yourself. So once you say yes, it's hard to go back. Can't go back. Can't go back. Can't stop it. So since you won't say yes and you won't move on your own, here comes the destruction. Because the inner battle has created a little slight opening like that. Maybe even like that. And now, any types of evil eye being thrown at you, even if it's just a little thing like, oh, she get on my nerves. Like, ugh, I just don't even feel like watching her no more. I wish she would go somewhere. It's not always somebody lighting a candle and casting spells and doing rituals against you. It can be as simple as that. But if you have just that much of a crack in your foundation due to the inner battle and the inner struggle of you not taking that next move, the universe uses the path of least resistance. So it's like, how can we get her to move? And this is not external to you. This is not something sitting up in the sky trying to get you to do something, puppeteering. This is the highest part of you saying, you know you need to do this, but I feel like doing it. I don't want to. I'm tired. I'm scared. I don't have time for any more failures. I don't have time to start over again, right? That inner struggle creates a little bit of a crack in the foundation, which leaves space for any kind of attack. The universe uses the path of least resistance, so it will allow for that attack to come in and destroy anything that's in the way of what the higher self is calling you to be, do, have, go. Do you understand that? Okay? I hope that makes sense. I hope that makes sense for somebody. Okay? When I was pretty much anything in my life that has fallen apart, whether it be relationships or, business things happening, I've had to stop and restart things over and over and over again. You know what I'm saying? I've had to, right? Simply because I was not willing to do the one thing that my inner guidance was telling me to do. And because I was ignoring that one thing, then, I put myself in a situation where it's like, okay, we got to get her to move. How do we do that? Let's do this. This will grab her attention. This will set fire under her. And I'm here to tell you, it doesn't always have to be like that. But I do understand that it's difficult for people to just move, right? Especially when you're comfortable, especially when you have already, you're like, I done hit my stride. I'm good. I'm just chilling right now. Okay? I get that. So you have to move the thing that is stopping you from making the move, right? You've got to clear that out of your energy field first so that you can make the move and you can continue making the move. The fear is never going to go anywhere, right? The fear is always going to be there. The hesitation is always going to be there. There's really, whatever. You're doing something new is going to bring a new devil up. And that new devil, again, is your programming. The new devil is the childhood traumas. It's all of that. That's the devil. That is the devil. It is not something with horns that is in opposition to God. You know what the devil is really there to do for you? It's there to say, these are my obstacles. This is the box that I'm keeping myself in. This is the gilded cage that I keep myself in. But I have the key and I have the choice to break out of it by going to the other side, by getting to the other side where the God consciousness is. You understand? It is time for us to bring that responsibility back onto ourselves. You can't claim that you got free will, but then you don't exercise it. And you keep putting fault on an external deity or entity that is stopping you from doing anything. You are the entity. You are the deity, honey bunnies. You are that. I am that I am. Okay? You got all that power up in you. You have the power to create and the power to destroy. Okay? So a lot of times, what we need in order to get into that, what I like to call sovereign shift, right? You have to recognize that you have outgrown the need to hide. You don't really need to do that anymore. Okay, that's the first thing you do is come into the realization that I've outgrown that. It doesn't serve me. I don't really need to do that anymore. Okay, and if I really feel bound to wanting to hide, why? I need to ask these questions. Why? I need to ask myself a list of questions. Okay. Asking yourself the right questions is empowering and groundbreaking and can literally tear down any walls of resistance just like that, very instant, okay? You need to figure out what protected you back then can be a prison for you right now. So just disappearing. Are you really moving forward? Are you really healing? Are you really, taking the next level? Now, sometimes you do need to isolate and you do need to disappear when you are in recovery from any types of potential setbacks, harms, attacks, whatever, sicknesses or whatever. You do need to do that, but you can't stay gone. You can't stay there. Okay? The other thing is you need to rewire your safety through somatic practices. Okay? And that's something that I get very deep into with, nervous system regulation and all that kind of stuff. You can absolutely look it up for yourself and do the practices on your own. However, I have mastered that and I am a master teacher in that realm, and that's what I do with my clients. Okay? You can start small, but make sure you're always standing in your power and make sure that you don't stay small. You want to start there in a place of power, in a place of sovereignty, but you don't want to stay there. You don't, this is enough. Okay, I took that step. I'm going to just stay here, because a lot of times we do that. I took that step. I took that one little baby step, and I'm just going to stay there because, see, I did enough, right? I did it. Okay. Choose visibility on your terms. What does that look like for you? Does it mean you have to be public facing like this? For some of you, you do. For some of you, you don't have a choice. You do. You know what I mean? How many years I've tried to avoid it because I just I've dealt with so much, and I've just been like, oh Lord, I gotta do this. I gotta get on here again. Yes, I do. I do. My voice is needed. This is the way that I am most powerful. Speaking, being seen, my presence, my voice sends ripple effects through the entire universe, and I know my power now, so I will not hide anymore. Okay? But for some of you, visibility is different. Your visibility can come in many shapes and many forms. That's right, Kurt, no choice. I ain't got no choice in the matter. I don't. I do have a choice in the matter, but the choice that I have made in the past didn't really serve me very well, because this is what I was born to do. It is in my birth chart, right? It is literally written for me to do this. Literally. I am supposed to be seen. I am supposed to be front stage, center stage, main star, starring role. That's me. And for a lot of you, it's the same thing. Okay? But again, you can have a starring role that doesn't require this kind of presentation, right? It can be something else. It could be writing a book. It could be blogging, the written word. It can be singing, acting, whatever it is. I don't know. Dancing. I don't know. For some of you, you are master programmers, and you're supposed to be working in technology, but something about it scares you a little bit, right? Whatever it is, you got to tap in to figure out what that is. And that's another thing that I help my clients do. We go straight in and we find out, oh, that's what I'm supposed to be doing. Okay, here are the next steps. Let's go. Okay. The other thing is that You never want to get comfortable because you've built this empire or you already have this amount in your bank account and you're like, I'm just going to sit back and do. Now, for some people, yes, that's all that's left for them to do is just sit back and relax and chill, right? But for most of us, it's like, all right, you did that, now next. But you have to understand that your action is an activation, okay? Your action is an activation. And it activates the attraction and the magnetism for more, okay? More wealth. And wealth is not just money, right? Some of you, it's time for you to really elevate your health, your healthy living and your fitness and your body, right? So for some of you, it's time to elevate your relationships. You've been with the same spouse for 20 or 30 years. It's time for y'all to elevate together. It's time for you all to start traveling together. It's time for you all to start doing some tantric work together, if you know what I'm saying, right? It's time for you to get on a deeper level with your partner. That's another level of wealth. That's wealth in itself. Some of you are master chefs and you've never explored that part of yourself, but you make fabulous meals for your family at home and for your friends. I don't know where that just came from, but that's for somebody. Okay? All right, so before we sign off, I want you to take a moment and just close your eyes. And just breathe in deeply and just hold the breath at the top for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Exhale. And breathe in slowly and softly again through the nose. Hold it at the top for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Exhale. One more time, breathing in slowly. This time when you hold the breath at the top, I want you to speak to yourself, I'm safe to be seen in my brilliance. I'm safe to be celebrated, wealthy, and visible. And now exhale. And just let that sink in. And just come back to your normal state of breathing. Shake your hands out. Bring yourself back into your physical body. And if you need to, you can ball up your fists or both, one fist or both. And just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, eyes open, wide awake. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, eyes open, wide awake. And that just brings you out of the state because I just took you into a quick state. Just quick. Okay? Now, for those of you who feel like, you know what, I've built my empire, I've reached so many heights of success, and yes, I do feel like it is time for me to move to the next level, or I do feel stuck. I still feel like I'm battling with betrayal and things that happened to me in the past, and I kind of feel like it's holding me back in certain ways, right? Maybe it's holding back with you know, forming better relationships with your children or forming better relationships in general, and you're ready to step into that next phase of evolution because that is a level of wealth as well, right? Those who are wealthy, you want to remain wealthy, and you understand that wealth ain't really got nothing to do with this, with what's in your bank account, right? You understand that on a higher level. So if you feel like that is somewhere in your experience where you are ready to override that and you're ready to overcome that, then what you can do is just set up a free talk with me, okay? just set up a free talk with me. The link is already in this video, and then after the video is uploaded, I'll put the link down there. We're going to talk for about 20 minutes, and we will find out what the issue is, and we'll move forward from there. All right, y'all? Okay, well, I'll see you all next week, Wednesday, 1 p.m., same time, same place. I was a little late today because technology was technologying. Okay, being technical. Some things I got to do on my end, but thankfully I am a techie person, so I can do that. But I hope that you all enjoy the rest of your week. Go ahead and set up your Sovereign Millionaire call with me. If you know someone else in your network who needs this work as well, then go ahead and share this video. But peace, love, and blessings to all of you, and I'll see you next week. Bye.